Hey guys, and welcome back to the Boys in the Star YouTube channel. Today is December 27th, and we just watched the Dallas Cowboys beat the Eagles and eliminate them from playoff contention, and are still alive thanks to Carolina defeating the Washington football team. But in particular today, I want to look at the Tony Pollard tape from last week while I'm waiting to get my hands on the tape from today's game to see Ezekiel Elliott's performance. As you might know, Zeke had a 100-yard performance today, which is what we've been missing all season long. And I know a lot of people have had some thoughts that Tony Pollard might be a better running back going forward based off of last week's performance. However, today's game, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but Tony Pollard's production was not nearly as strong as Zeke's in terms of yards per carry, even though he was on a limited touch basis. So why don't we go back and look at the game where he did have a lot of touches. This is his first carry of the game. It is a 2nd and 5, the first quarter. And let's just look at this and see how he does. As you can see, not too bad, but we'll get a better look at a different angle and we'll dive into it a little better. So we got some motioning by the tight end. Okay, this is where Tony Pollard's getting the ball, right here. So from this point on, it's up to him to decide which way to go. And as you can see, there's a big gap here, but we do have a guy running in to block it. And you would think that he would attack the large gap, maybe push forward for a bigger gain, as what Zeke would try to do, put his head down. Let's slow it down and see what TP does. He goes for the smaller gap and gets stopped due to some inadequate blocking by the offensive line. Do you want to put that on Tony Pollard for not attacking the larger gap? Or do you want to just blame the offensive line for not opening up enough gaps? Here's where he gets the ball. Which direction do you think he should attack? Who knows? So this next play is a 1st and 10, ball on our own 22, same drive. That last carry was for 3 yards. I don't know if I mentioned that. But we got some more motioning by the tight end. And a handoff to Pollard. And he picks up another 3 yards. So from this angle, we'll get a better look at the blocking and see if we can pause it right when he gets the ball and look at the holes that open up. Alright, let's bring that back. So right here is where TP gets the ball. And there is a decent hole right over here that opens up and you would expect him to attack it. Let's see if the blockers can hold though. So he attacks that hole, and it looks like this blocker right here can't keep his block, and TP gets hit almost immediately as soon as he gets the gap. Good run defense by the 49ers, but nothing spectacular or special by Tony Pollard up to this point. So this play is a 2nd and 3rd, ball on the 3-yard line, so it's 2nd and goal in the first quarter. Tony Pollard gets motioned back into the backfield. And he gets it in for a touchdown. It is a 2 or 3 yard gain. So there is a gap here, and he does attack the hole as you would expect him to do. 54 gets his hands on him due to some inadequate run blocking by the offensive line, if you want to call it that. But TP does push forward and gets a friendly push from the pile and gets it in for the touchdown. So far, I feel like this is nothing that Zeke has not been able to accomplish this season. It's all been 2 or 3 yard carries. So it turns out that last run he's actually stopped short. So he has 1 yard to go, and he just gets to punch it in real quick here. We'll check it out. We'll look at every run by TP in this game. And of course he gets hit at the line of scrimmage, but with the last ditch effort he extends the ball forward and he gets it in for the touchdown. So run blocking. Looks to me that he could try and follow a blocker here or bounce it outside. And what he decides to do is follow his blocker, put his shoulder down, and try and get into the end zone. Very Ezekiel Elliot like in terms of looking for the contact and getting the yard that he needed to get. So here it's a 2nd and 7, ball on the 11th. This is the next run by Tony Pollard in the game. It's a pitch back to him. And this is something that is more of a unique style run, a little bit of trickeration that Kellen Moore is throwing at the San Francisco defense. So this is where TP gets the ball, all the way back here. Let's see how the defense reacts. So far, it looks like all these linebackers are running towards the correct side. And TP does got the speed, so he turned on the jets, made this guy miss, followed his blocker who did not block at all, and got tackled. Pretty good 7-yard gain, and I will give TP the benefit of saying that this play was a good play by him. Maybe something we would not have seen from Ezekiel Elliot, who maybe doesn't have the acceleration that Tony Pollard does. Is that to say that Zeke wouldn't have gotten a good gain? Who knows? But TP got 7 yards following inadequate blockers based off of pure speed. Maybe Ezekiel Elliott gets tackled back here. But I don't think they would call this sort of play for Zeke. So this is a cool play that you could throw Tony Pollard in, catch the defense off guard, and get a good 7-yard gain from. So now, second quarter, beginning of the second quarter, 1st and 10. We got TP lined up in the backfield. And we get a run for no gain here. So let's see exactly what happened. So Tony Pollard gets the ball right about here. And as you can see, he is already getting tackled. I don't even have time to pause it to show you. So he gets the ball here. And there's a few holes that open up here. However, these two guys are unblocked. And this guy does have some speed. And he just busts in here and tackles Tony Pollard basically at the line of scrimmage. And this is kind of what we've been seeing with Ezekiel Elliott all year, He's just getting tackled immediately. And we just seem to blame Zeke that, he's slow, he doesn't got it anymore. But the point of this is, a lot of these holes are not staying open, or he's getting tackled almost immediately. So now it is 1st and 10, ball and 25, beginning of the 3rd quarter. Set the scene for you real quick. We got Coop motioning in and back out. And hand it off to Pollard. And he gets tackled for no gain. This is every single Tony Pollard run in order that happened in the game. So let's see what happened. So this is where TP gets the ball. Now it looks like Joe Looney, I believe this is. I think a lot of these around Joe Looney is just not holding the blocker. Like if Joe Looney just had his dude here and these guys could have just made some blocks, we could have at least gotten 4 or 5 yards. And I think this is where you see Zeke just push forward, where it looks like Zeke's gonna get stopped for nothing and he gets 4 or 5. But Tony Pollard's not that kind of runner. He's gonna try and avoid the contact and he's gonna go straight down, thanks to some more inadequate blocking by the offensive line. I mean, is it really a surprise that the first year without Travis Fredrick, we can't run the ball anymore? So this is the very next play. He lost a yard on that previous play. We're going to give it to Tony Pollard one more time. Because, establish the run. It's important. Motioning CeeDee Lamb over to the other side. Alright, here's where TP gets the ball. We got 2 big gaps here, and of course these linebackers are reading this run, and they're going to fill their designated gaps. So TP's running it out here. This is going to attack this gap. And he changes his mind and goes towards this gap. And there's no one there to block in the second level. So the gap gets filled adequately. Good play by the San Francisco linebackers. And only a gain of a few. Can you fault Tony Pollard? If Ezekiel Elliot was in this position, would he have done worse? So now it is 2nd and 6. Ball on the 33. Good play by TP to fight for some extra yards here. Ooh. Now that is not too pretty. Right here, TP gets the ball with this dude already in his face. Looks like Joe Looney's guy chasing him down. And if this is Ezekiel Elliot, maybe he does get tackled right here. Who knows? But TP's got that burst. He made a dude miss. But, made another dude miss. And just dives forward for a gain of a few. And this is one of the first times where we see Tony Pollard kind of get past dudes in his face as soon as he gets the ball, which I feel like is what Zeke's been dealing with all year. And even though Zeke is getting stuffed for 1 or 2 yards, Zeke does get 4 or 5 occasionally by just pushing forward. And here you see Tony Pollard do it, but in a different way. Instead of pushing against the linebackers or the defensive tackles, he makes them all miss and dives forward for a decent gain. So here, 1st and 10. We're in the 4th quarter now, working our way through this game. We got some motioning from the tight end. Handoff to Pollard. And he gets a decent run for 5 yards. Let's look at it from this angle. Alright, this is where TP's getting the ball. Not many holes opening up, but if he can follow his blockers, hope they push forward. That's his plan right now. And that's what he does. Follow the blockers, make a nice cut, and dive forward for 5 yards. No big holes, nothing spectacular, but at least he's not getting tackled as soon as he gets the ball. A run like this every run would be a spectacular performance by any running back. So the O-line, we're not asking much. We just need some adequate blocking, as we see there. 4th quarter, 2 minutes left, we're up, feeling good, 1st and 10. Trying to chew some clock, So of course we're going to hand it to Tony Pollard. Here you go, TP. What you got for us? Not bad. Now that's a Tony Pollard run right there. You usually never see Zeke going backwards, But Tony Pollard, he sees that there ain't nothing there for him. He's not going to try and slither through here. That would be more so what Zeke would try and attempt, and sometimes it works. Sometimes he breaks through. But Tony Pollard said, nah, screw that. I'm going to go around all of you guys. And now he's got some space to work with. Good tackle by the 49ers defense. Gain of 5 yards. Not a bad run at all. Shout out to Tony Pollard for that one. Now this next run is probably the one you've seen the most. And is what made a lot of people start talking about Tony Pollard being possibly better than Ezekiel Elliot. So let's check it out. Run the clock out. So we're going to hand it to TP. What you got for his TP? Oh. And bam. Take it home. That's what we like to see. That's all we want to see when running the ball. We want to see big runs. So let's see how we did it. Here's where TP gets the ball. O-line has got all these guys bunched up. They're not going anywhere, right? Noah Brown, I believe that is coming up to block. Noah Brown's a good blocking wide receiver. 54, the Niners linebacker, is reading TP. And he's got a big hole right here if this block can just hold. Now, that block held good enough for TP's speed. Do you think Ezekiel Elliot could have made through that hole? I think so. I think he could have made it to at least here. But Tony Pollard does something pretty spectacular, and that is breaking these tackles right here. His ability to just stop and spin out of that was quite incredible. And I don't know if you can see that from Ezekiel Elliot so often. Zeke does have some nice juke moves. Maybe he gets out of some more of those. But this is the big run that got everyone crazy about TP in that game. However, I do want to remind you, if you watched the Cowboys play against the Eagles on December 27th, you know that Ezekiel Elliott did bust off a pretty big run. And as soon as I get the tape on that game, we'll go through how he did that as well. But shout out to Tony Pollard. So those were all the runs that Tony Pollard had in the 49ers game that had everybody going crazy about TP. And while they have a point in one aspect, which is Tony Pollard was a beast in the passing game. If you take away that last 40-yard run for a touchdown, Tony Pollard's running was nothing spectacular. I believe I saw a stat where it was without that last run, he was averaging just under 3 yards per carry. If you look at most of the runs that we saw, he was just getting 1, 2, or 3 yards. He had one for 7 and a couple 5s in there. So could you really blame Zeke for the bad year of running the ball this year? Or is it all on the offensive line? I mean, you guys know how many different O-line combinations we had, and most of these guys are not our starters, all but one, I believe. Even our rookie center that we thought was pretty good isn't playing anymore because of an injury. But I do want to give TP credit where he does shine, which is in some of the screen and passing plays. So let's look at one real quick. Passes to TP. Look at all that space. Look at all of that. He's got the jets. He's got the speed, the acceleration. He can make people miss in the open field. Get him the ball in the open field. Watch him do some dirty work. Look at my man's open. He's got the speed to pass through all these dudes. That's just one example. We'll look at another one real quick. Here's another great passing or catch by Tony Pollard. Catch and run. Motion him back out here to the other side. And bam, he's got all the space. He can make a dude miss, and he can get you some extra yards. Because he's got that acceleration. He's got the burst. And he seems to catch a lot of these passes. I know Zeke's had some dropping issues, but that's not to say Tony Pollard hasn't. I believe he had a couple drops. But he doesn't have many reps either. Let's look at this one more time from this angle. Ooh. Is that Sherm? That's nice. So, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Can we blame Ezekiel Elliot for not having the greatest rushing season? I mean, you can see that Tony Pollard struggled as well. Yes, he had a big run in the fourth quarter to ice the game, but his yards per carry without that run is nothing spectacular, and it's not like you can blame Tony Pollard either. A lot of these runs were blown up from the start because of inadequate blocking, and perhaps the play calling or scheming of these runs are too predictable. I know some people think that ever since Kellen Moore took over, the running game hasn't been as effective as before when he took over. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll get you a video on Ezekiel Elliott's performance against Philly as soon as I get the coach's film on that. And until next time, peace out.